Well, welcome to another lesson of the Focus on DatoCMS course. I am Marcelo Lewin, the Headless Creator. As always, right there, get a hold of me, Marcelo, at headlesscreator.com. Today, I'm going to show you how to work with the Media Manager inside of DatoCMS. There's a lot of stuff going on in there. There's some really cool stuff that you may not even need to use Photoshop for to edit some of your images. So we'll get into all of that in just a minute. But as you know how this works, before we get started, I'm going to tell you real quick about headlesscreator.com. Go get your free account. We're almost at the end of the year here. I'm supposed to close the end of the year with 1,400 registered users. That was my goal. Well, my original goal was 1,000, but I beat that. So my next goal was 1,400. I'm already over that. So let's see if we can hit 1,450. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We only have, what, 4 days left for this year. So anyway, get your free account. And what do you get with a free account? You'll have access to this lesson on demand. The on-demand lessons have absolutely no marketing, so we get straight to the lesson. It's edited, so don't worry about that. But you also have access to the entire course, and the entire course of the Focus on DatoCMS has tons of lessons. After this lesson, we have another lesson coming up next week. So we're going to have a total of 12 lessons and more next year. So anyway, get that. And then you also have access to pretty much everything else in Headless Creator, including Content Modeling Weekly, Discover Headless Tech, all the Focus on courses, Personalization Bootcamp. In January, we're launching another bootcamp on uniform, so stay tuned for that one. So lots and lots of cool stuff you'll have access to. So get your free account there. You won't regret it. All right, having said that, let's go ahead and go back here. We're going to restart the intro because for the on-demand version, there's absolutely no marketing whatsoever. So I will see you back in just 10 seconds. Well, hello, and welcome to another lesson of the Focus on DatoCMS course. I am Marcelo Lewin, the Headless Creator. As always, get a hold of me right there, Marcelo at headlesscreator.com. Today, I'm going to show you how to work with the Media Manager in DatoCMS and how to get the most out of it, or into it, both. So enough of that. Why don't we go ahead and jump right in? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show my screen here. And here we go. So there we are in DatoCMS. Let me organize some of my stuff here because I have a list that I want to make sure I go through everything. So let's start out with the interface of the Media Manager. And obviously it's located right here where it says Media. Very easy. Just go there. Once you go there, you'll see basically all your media. Now yours is going to look different because you have different media, but you also, it may be depending if you have filter sets set up, and I'll show you how to do that. Just a variety of things. So why don't we start with the actual interface, and let's go through the top all the way down to the bottom. So right here, you have three sizes that you can show your media view below by. This is the equal size. So in other words, every box here will be the same size, and it just shows you a thumbnail of whatever's in there. So next to these boxes, you have the ability to resize the thumbnail. So if I go, for example, larger, you can see that they do become larger, but the size of the box remains the same for all of them, okay? Next up is to view them by the aspect ratio and size of the image. So for example, you can see that this box aspect ratio is 16:9, where this one is a 4:3 or 4:4, whatever you want to call it, 1:1. So basically this just puts them in the actual size and aspect ratio of the asset that's in there. And we're going to get into why this is a PDF and what's showing here. We'll get into all of that without a problem in just a minute. But then the final one, which is the one that I use the most, is the detail. Okay, and in the detail, you have a variety of information you can see all at once. So for example, I can see my smart tags, I can see copyright information, and you can control the columns you see here by clicking on this cogwheel right there. And then you can move things around. So for example, if I want manual tags over resolution, you'll see that now we have manual tags here and resolution there. If I put it back, you'll see that it goes back. And then you have other columns, right? So let's say you want to see updated at, and I can put it way at the beginning. So now we have, here's my updated at column that shows me when everything was updated. So if that's important to you, you can remove any columns. For example, let's say I don't care about the copyright. I'll click on delete. Maybe the smart tag's gone. So now we just have that. Okay, and that is your ability to see all the column data that's important to you by clicking on the detail icon right there. And again, this slider is just for the actual thumbnails, the size of the thumbnails you can see. So usually I display it like this just because for me it's easier to manage my media this way, but other people may find this easier or this one better. Up to you. Okay, so we cover that. Let me show you. Next to this is we have the sorting, and you can sort ascending or descending by a variety of criteria. So recently created, least recently created. I love how they worded that. Biggest file size, smallest file size, highest resolution, lowest resolution, a variety of ways, right? If you want to go A through Z, you can see them by the name, basically. And then you can hit Z through A through Z, ascending, descending. Usually I'll go by recently created, or we'll do usually file name. We'll do that. Next to that, you have the number of assets you have in your media manager. So I'll just show you the number of assets. The upload new assets button, very simple. When you click on it, it'll let you upload basically. You don't see the little pop-up, but it's just your OS pop-up that just shows up. And then you can select a file to upload. Alrighty, let's just make sure we have everything covered here. Searching wise, when you search, it'll search not just by the file name, but it'll search for any content inside the file name. So for example, if we look at this PNG, and I'm going to go through this whole process here, but it'll search by title, caption, alternate text, any kind of categorization you have, anything like that. So for example, if I say pepperoni right there, and we type in pepperoni here, we should get the one right there. If I type in Kirk, we'll have one image, which is Captain Kirk. Okay. If I type in Spock, if I type it in, it'll search through all the media and, oh, because I misspelled it, Spock. There we go. Spock, and there are two images where I put in Spock as a meta tag, and I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. Anyway, that's searching. Next up, I'm going to clear that up. The next up is something that's really powerful that I really enjoy, which is the filters. So for example, let's say I want to add that says, show me anything that is of type, and you have a variety of filters. Type, in use meaning that it's being in use by an entry, right? So here you have 3 images that are being used in entries. Has a certain type of resolutions. It could be is not, also manual tags, smart tags, colors, orientation. One that I find very useful is, for example, colors. So for example, let's say, hey, show me, first of all, show me everything that's an image. Next up, so that shows me everything that's an image. Next up, and if we look at this, let's get rid of that for a minute. You can see everything that's an image. Now, I'm going to say, show me where colors contains any of red. And there's only 2 images that contain red in it. And that is based on the, if we look at an image, it'll be based on this colors here. And then I'll show you how to get that through the API playground as well. But that's really cool because now I have red images, let's just say, or contains any of red and let's say blue. So now we'll have multiple because this contains blue as well. Now we can save this filter. If we're going to reuse this over and over, we'll say save filter and we'll call it images with red and blue in them, like that. Now you can make this private only to you, this filter, or you can make it where it's shared with anybody in this project. I'm going to keep it private to me. I'm going to click on save. Now I'm going to clear, and to clear filters, you just click on the little X right there. It shows me everything. Now, when you clicked on saved filters, you can see that you can save if you have a new search, or here's your other filter. So here's images with red and blue, and automatically it brings it up. And now I only see those images. Okay, let's clear that up. Perfect. So we've talked about filters. Oh, and the way that to delete a filter, let's say you no longer want this filter, you can edit the filter by clicking on the edit or the little delete trash can there. So I'm going to click on delete. You sure you want to delete this filter? Yes. And now that filter is gone. It's no longer there. So that's how you manage your filters. Okay, next up, I'm going through my list here to make sure everything's covered. Next up, you'll notice that next to each of these boxes, when we have this box, or even these selects right there, you have checkboxes right there, right? If we go, we have a checkbox. So if I go here, I can select multiple, and at the bottom, you will notice that you can do a couple of things. For example, I can say show selected, and what that means is that it's only going to show me, imagine having 1,000 assets, right? But you only want to focus on these 3 assets right there. You can say show selected, and it only will show me those. Everything else is gone. It's not deleted, just not shown. Or I can say hide selected, and then it brings back everything else. I would change this, DatoCMS, if you're watching, I would change this from hide selected to show all, because really that's what you're doing. You're not hiding the selected. Of course, you can deselect all. You can delete all these images, and it's going to tell you, hey, you're about to delete 3 assets. So are you sure you want to do that? Now, there are permissions that will kick into effect here that if you have access to delete, and I'll cover that in just a minute. But right now, that's how you delete assets. The other thing you can do is you can tag a whole bunch of assets together at the same time. So for example, let's say I want to tag them all with the Spock tag, right? Or create a new pizza tag. And we do create pizza, and it'll tag them all. I can say pizza, save, and now those 3 were tagged with pizza, and you can see right there, pizza, pizza, pizza. Of course, they're not real pizza, but it's okay, no problem. So that's how you manage multiple in bulk, right? You can just select as many as you want, or you can click on up here, and it'll select everything for you, or deselect everything for you. So keep that in mind. Alrighty. So that is the interface here. Now let's jump into, and let's do this here. We'll go into this one. Let's make it a little bit larger. There we go. And let's jump into the editor for each of these asset types. So first of all, I'm going to jump into a PDF media asset, or yeah, PDF asset. So you can see that basically you can copy the URL, you can download this asset. So if you upload it and you want to work on it, you can download it. And then you have information at the bottom right there. So for example, if I go click on copy URL, then open up a new tab,